Coach Bob Stoops and the Arlington Renegades taking on the DC Defenders at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. And Bob Stoops joins you now right here on 105.3 The Fan. Good afternoon, sir. How the heck are you?
Me on, and hope you're having a great day.
Yes, sir. We are. Man, and congrats on making the game. How you feeling? How's this season gone for you guys?
Yeah, thank you. It's been we've been up and down, throughout the year, but we really, I think, as much as anything, have catching our stride and confidence and all in this past couple of weeks in the way we've played. And we had a chance in the divisional playoff game to win, and we won, and had a good solid game. And now it gives us a lot of confidence and some momentum coming into this championship game here on Saturday evening, like you said, at 7:00 in San Antonio.
It is exciting to get there. These DC Defenders 9-1 on the year. They are favored, but you feel like your guys have made some significant improvements throughout the year, and maybe that record is an indication of how you're playing now?
Well, we played them in week 9 and took them to overtime at their place up in DC. So we're familiar with them. And then, yes, I do believe that we're a much different football team now than we were then, as well as through the early part of the year. A big reason for that is our quarterback, Luis Perez. That was just his 4th game in the playoff game and with us. So there's just more and more comfort and confidence with he and the receivers and everything we're doing now. So I think that does help us coming into this championship game.
Yeah, Coach, the last time we had you on, you were really kind of trying to find your identity there at quarterback, though. With Luis, though, the game plans, everything like that, feels like that you're going the right direction to handle this championship game.
Absolutely. We're, again, just a lot, how it is. Every week he's grown and gotten better with us, and the receivers now more comfortable with him and everything we're doing. So, yeah, we're a much different team with him now in now it's week 6. And, just even with the extra practice time, there's a lot more confidence offensively than we had earlier in the year.
Coach, how insane is it? I was seeing at the beginning of the season where the two teams that are like the team you're playing with, you're flying with them to and from the road cities. How weird is that?
It wasn't all that odd. We're all in the same boat, meaning we're all practicing around Arlington in this area. So you show up at the plane, and the team that's hosting the game, they board through the front, and the team that's going to play them, they board through the back. And what's neat about it, so many of the players know each other, so the guys will go up and down the aisles talking to each other, and coaches, we have gotten to know each other, same thing. So but you get off the plane and they leave off the front, we leave out the back, get on our bus, they get on their bus, so there's not a ton of interaction actually. It's really pretty smart in the way we're doing it.
Talking with Coach Bob Stoops of your Arlington Renegades, getting you set for the XFL Championship on Saturday right here on 105.3 The Fan with the GBag Nation. Now, Jordan Tamu ends up being XFL Offensive Player of the Year for the DC Defenders. Your defense has been sensational. It's been your calling card for the team all season. What's the challenges that Tamu and this Defender offense present for you and your outstanding D?
Yeah, Jordan's a great player. The challenge is he got a great arm, smart guy, and where he goes with the ball. So throws the ball well, and then he's got the ability to scramble or run the zone read, pull the ball and run. So anytime you get a quarterback that can do multiple things like that, run and pass, makes it challenging. So it'll be tough. But I got a lot of confidence in our coaches and our players, the way they play, that we'll have a good plan and be able to contain them, hopefully.
So you've had experience, obviously, coaching in national championship games at college. Do you reflect and draw from that at all as you get ready for an XFL championship game, or is this a completely different situation?
It's different. That's a whole different animal right there. I'm working with older, mature guys that, there's not a lot of comparisons there when just because of the age of all the guys you're working with and the experience they have, and all of that. So, and we're not down at the game for a week. We don't have a month to prepare for it. So it's a lot different than a national championship game in college.
I know all coaches, though, they love to compete, they love to coach, and they love to be in these kind of situations. It's not the same as being at the top of American football like you were, but can you put into words, Bob, what this title would mean for you and your team?
Oh, it made a great deal. We're all excited about it, about the opportunity, the chance to get it. And sure, I'm not going to do anything if you're not going to try and win at the highest level and be a champion. I mean, that's natural, and you're right. Anyone that's been involved in this, you're always competitive, and so it'd mean a great deal. And and that's why the whole team and our whole program here is excited about the chance. Now we got to go make it happen.
Do you have any sort of remember the Alamo speech ready for the guys or anything like that?
No, I'm not much on that, and these older guys aren't much on the Newt Rockne speeches.
What are they into?
They're into just get ready to play.
I like their style.
But the college kids, when you were at OU, I bet they loved a good hype-up speech, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't much on that, but I think they felt my intensity. We had a pretty decent run.
Now, was Coach Bob Stoops at the college level? Was he getting involved in some of these viral post-game victory locker room coach dances that we're seeing these days, or was Bob Stoops not getting involved
Maybe
in the
put a little
locker room
Sooner
dancing?
chain on or something?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't much on that either. I was. You might get a little step or two if we won a Big 12 championship or national championship, but it wasn't for long, and there weren't any phones around.
Hey, Coach, with the way the situations are for extra points and stuff, if you get in this situation, is it just like the way you've played all year, stay aggressive, or is it, if it comes down to having to go for the win on that, do you look at that way, or do you say, well, we might have to tie this, maybe look for an overtime situation, or how do you go into these games? Yeah.
Well, you look at the percentages. Going for 2 points from the 5, there's a 43% chance of making it, and if you go for 1 point from the 2, there's a 39% chance of making it. So that's virtually the same, right?
Right.
So why not go for 2 then? So point being, it just depends on the percentages. Your percentages of getting a 3-pointer is only 20-something. It's twice as much. So point being, you just sort of you work the percentages and or what plays you like. You might have a really good play though from the 2-yard line that's for 1 point that you really feel is going to work, and you do it. If it's say it's the fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go, and it's going to put you ahead. So anyhow, you just, like all situations, it just depends on the situation.
Has being in this league changed you as a coach when it comes to maybe the analytics or going? I know your whole career you've had the option to go for 2, but is it throughout now being in the XFL, has that changed how you look at analytics when it comes to making those decisions?
Well, there's nothing to compare when you look at kicking an extra point for 1 as opposed to going for 2.
Sure.
There's a big difference. You're about 100% kicking the 1.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying is there's not much to compare there. It's different, So no, you just it's always something you're processing, going for 1, 2, or 3 depending on the score.
It's Coach Bob Stoops here. Renegades taking on the DC Defenders at the Alamo Dome, 7 o'clock on Saturday, the XFL Championship Game. You mentioned your guy Perez playing well. Saw Ben DiNucci from Seattle got the invite to Broncos camp. Next week, after the final, are we going to be hearing more guys getting their shot?
Yeah, there should be because, we were told until these guys complete their season, other teams weren't going to sign them until this was over. So I'm sure, hopefully, both teams will have players that'll be signing with different teams and going to camps.
What keeps most of these guys going? Is it that dream? Is it the love of football or something else?
It's all of that. It's the love of football. A lot of these guys still have an opportunity to play in the league, and will get picked up or have a chance, and that's their ultimate goal, and we support that goal and want it for them. But, some of them maybe know they're at the end of their careers and just enjoy playing. So it's a little of both of those.
How tough is that with maybe a lack of continuity from year to year? Because the hope is obviously the XFL is here to stay, and as long as you're doing it, you might not know. You could have a completely different team next year.
That's okay. There's a lot of good football players, and there's enough practice time to get everybody on the same page, and that's not an issue. And again, we support and want our players to be picked and have an opportunity in the NFL. That's what we're all about.
Coach, with the game being in San Antonio, though, you got to be hopeful that the Texas crowd shows up on your end of this, right?
I'm not holding out hope for that. I'm not so sure the Texas fans are going to go support me.
Well, maybe your team, right? How about your team, though, right? They're going to support. Yeah.
Different now, exactly. We're going down there. It's a South Division team.
Yeah.
Texas is in the South. We're a South team, so hopefully anybody that's on the fence listening out there, come down and support us.
Yeah, there you go.
How many minutes after the Renegades win the championship will Bob Stoops dip into that rock and roll tequila?
Oh, it'll be before I get to the locker room.
We might get a dance celebration out of you.
Heck yeah, let's go.
See that.
Coach, while we have you here, I did want to ask you about this because I think we talked about it during the college football season and when we were going back and reminiscing about Mike Leach and great stories there, but the playbook situation where they leave it for the Texas coaches ahead of the Red River game. What are your memories about that, Coach? Because that is an outstanding story.
Well, he not the playbook. He left his call script.
Right, that's what it was.
He intentionally dropped a fake one, a phony one, and he saw that he watched and kept walking, and he watched as a graduate assistant, young coach or manager, somebody ran over, picked it up, and started reading it, and then went running in the locker room to give it to the coaches. And Trent Smith, I think our tight end, was the one who dropped. No, Trent Smith dropped it. He acted like he was putting it in back of his pads and let it slip out. And they all watched him run into the locker room, so they knew they had taken the bait. So I didn't find out about all this until like a week later.
Wow.
And I looked at guys in the offensive meeting, and I said to them, I go, "You did what?" They all started chuckling. And so anyway, so be it. Miss Mike. Miss Mike, and pray for his family all the time.
How much did you get involved in the state fair activities during those rivalry games?
Well, never, other than the one time, 2000, my second year there, when we beat them 63-14. I let the players run around the fair with their families for like 3 hours. I said, at whatever time, we're back on the bus and we're going home. And Smitty, our strength coach, he tipped off one of the beer tent guys right by our locker room, and we went around the back of the picnic table and back of the tent and sat down with our wives and some of the coaches and had a few beers and a cigar for about an hour. So it's pretty lovely. Good.
Yes, sir. Find some shade right there.
I never did that again, though.
Well, listen, Bob, awesome stories and banter. We've loved it all year long having you on the show, and we can feel your intensity, and we'll support the hell out of you anytime down here, man. So best of luck in that championship game.
Well, we appreciate it. If we're going to go all the way to San Antonio, we might as well win it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give them hell. We'll be pulling for you.